Welcome, everyone, to our free call with Sarah Grandinetti, titled Your Awareness Called. It's time to follow it. We have an hour today to explore with Sarah. And Sarah, if I may be so bold, I would like to kick off the call with a question for you as kind of like our launching pad.
I love it.
Okay, good. So we have this concept of awareness, and I think many of us are very used to being in our minds. And I would love to maybe start and set the stage of like, what is the difference between mind and awareness? Because one of the things that I find for myself as challenging as I go through like self-awareness journey and consciousness and all of that is there are times where I absolutely have an awareness about something. And I'm like, oh my God, I knew that. They didn't even say the thing, but I knew it. And I was aware this whole time, or I knew that was going to happen or whatever. And then there are other times it's just the like insane mind of like, well, what did they mean by that? And then it becomes this other kind of like sneaky trap almost. So I don't know if you would want to start there of inviting people to look at like, what is the difference between the kind of like mental chatter that's constantly going on and awareness?
Yeah, I do. Do we need to spotlight us? Is that a thing right now?
It is the thing, and I will spotlight you. I don't think I need you to spotlight.
I think you do. Okay. Welcome everybody. Hi. I love seeing a lot of the faces that I already love and adore, and then a lot of new faces. Before I jump into this question, what I just want to say is that the ask to do this call has been around for a little bit. And what I know is it's also one of those things that if we can get it to, it, I asked to be a pragmatic facilitator. If we can get it to where we like can conceptualize, if you can, what it looks like to follow the energy and have your awareness lead. Um, for me anyways, that seemed like a far off thing and very kind of woohoo because everything's energy, even the thoughts I'm trying to use to guide myself have energy with them, right? So I was constantly blasting through my awareness, which is a light feather touch with my thoughts because those energies were louder. And the more that I let go of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, the more the whispers can turn up and be truly like a compass for creating magic and miracles. But how do we talk about that plainly on a Zoom so that everybody can kind of have their light bulbs turn on? That is the question of the day, and I'm asking it. So if you would ask it for me, um, and with me, and so your questions are a huge gift, in what you're pondering because we'll see what we can pull out together. So when you were talking, Kate, this is a perfect example of awareness. I was like, uh-oh, how am I going to answer that? Now, not from doubt, but like truly, how am I going to answer her question? So there's a question that I asked that invited a possibility. And then what came in was a picture of my dog's face. Now, my thoughts and feelings could say, oh, I love my dog so much and I should talk about my dog, but it's not about my dog. I was like, okay, so as you're still talking, I have mom ears so I can listen and ask questions at the same time. It's wild. It's like, what is it about my dog and why is my dog showing up here while Kate's talking about the difference between thoughts and them being intense and awareness? And what I know is that our animals don't have as many thoughts in their head. Our animals aren't constantly mentally masturbating about the world around them. They're just there, present in the moment. And you'll see a dog go from, I'm going to lay here and relax to totally alert and aware of something. Okay. Because something shifted. They heard something. Now that if that's an actual sound they heard, or they're aware of an energy outside, they perk up and they look out. They're not going, no, it's probably the gardener. He was here last week. It's not like, I don't have to do anything about this right now. I'm hungry and I should probably eat before I think about this or figure out how I'm going to attack the gardener again. They just have an awareness and they follow it immediately to see. And then what I perceive is that they're sensing. They're truly sensing, and is this danger? What do I perceive in the energy? And do I need to bark or do I need to move towards the window to get a better look? So What gets in our way is that we take awareness, which really is that feather's touch. And if you start to acknowledge when you have the feather's touch, whether it's hindsight awareness is always fun, like Kate said, where you're like, "Oh, I was aware of that thing," ugh, right? What happens is it's like when you like walk out of the house and your umbrella like falls, or it gets in your line of sight and you go, "Do I need that?" No. And you leave and then it downpours and you're like, "Oh, I was aware it was going to rain," right? But then you ask the question, okay, body, universe, get louder. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to actually pause and be present in those moments that are um like in speaking as this as an analogy slash example of leaving your umbrella at home when it pinged you to bring it. Okay. There will be little nuances that if you don't turn it into a feeling, which is really what I'd like to have us become aware of today as we explore. You get an awareness, but if you don't react to the awareness, you don't take a judgment or a point of view, the awareness can actually become more full bodied, have more clarity. And the minute that you go, "What am I aware of here?" There's something a little bit interesting. And you add question to that. You start to, like we do on like our laptops, right? Like you grab the corner of something and you can like expand it out and then it becomes bigger and more clear and you can see what's going on. When you're willing to be aware of those subtleties, which you guys all are. So let's do that really quick. So everywhere you were implanted and explanted to believe that you aren't aware. Everywhere you've been waiting for someone to acknowledge your awareness and validate you for it. And everywhere you were never acknowledged and told that you were aware, so you turned it down and turned it off and saw it as not valuable. Everything that is through all lifetimes, especially this one, will you destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, basies, creations, and beyonds. Most of us were um, raised, parented from rules, projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejection. Okay. Most of us were told what our parents' points of view were about things, and then we were modeled into the adaptation of becoming that which our parents thought as right, wrong, good, or bad. Not often were we asked questions. What are you aware of here? What would you like to choose from that awareness? What do you know that I don't know because I'm not you and I haven't had your life experience or see the world the way you do because you're a unique being? Most of us weren't told that. So this little subtlety of awareness that you had growing up, that could have then grown into helping you create your life, it was turned off and turned down in favor of someone else's point of view. Okay, cool. Let's not judge that. Let's not react to that. Let's not blame mom or dad for that because they're just doing what they were taught, right? But if we choose now to get aware of how we function and interact with our awareness and what questions we can ask and what questions we can just choose to be so that we could have more, the ease for humanoids becomes walking in miracles, truly. A lot of us humanoids, majority of us humanoids, keep looking at the humans who are completely committed to polarity. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know any access and you're brand new here, I'm going to give you a little bit of background information. So in access, we talk about 3 species on the planet. 2 I'm going to talk about right now. We all aesthetically look the same. Okay. So like you could look at my 2 dogs. They're different breeds. I don't know why my dogs just want to be on this show today, but here we are. They're totally 2 different breeds, right? But you would classify them both as dogs. And then if you look a little further, or not that much further if you have eyeballs, you'll see that they look totally different and they have total different personalities, but they also by breed interact with the world differently because of the way that breed functions. Okay, so one of my guys is part golden retriever. He retrieves everything everywhere all the time, bringing you things. Okay, my other dog is a Pyrenees who is very willing and excited to guard the home and chase after birds and lizards and every animal that she can find. Okay. They react to the world differently. So these breeds of people, we call humans and humanoids. Now, a human is somebody who does really well with judgment. Judgment is actually their guide. They love right, wrong, good, bad, and they will actually create and excel with judgment. Okay. If you don't judge judgment, you'll get the download of just how it works for them. They actually interact with polarity differently. They're always right and everybody else is always wrong. I'm sure you know some of these people. And then there's humanoids, and those are the seekers of the world who are always judging themselves and always feeling wrong and using that side of judgment to navigate, trying to get into the human's reality of rightness and judging themselves for not being there. And so, because judgment doesn't work for us humanoids, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities are more our jam. We keep not creating what we know is possible based on trying to use someone else's breed type, if you will. Okay. Fantastic. It's like when you see a chihuahua trying to be a guard dog. Okay. Like, thank you for barking. We're really grateful, but you're not the person who's going to take down the criminals breaking into my house, right? You're going to bite ankles and that's not your job. So us as humanoids are over here trying to do the job or do it like a human, and it just doesn't work. So that's the foundation of like where I wanted to explore with this call. So Kate, I have given you a very long-winded answer, but when awareness comes in and we start to value it first, not turn it down, not ignore it, and not turn it into a feeling that you have to react to and use judgment for, you can become aware of things that, and it doesn't have to be hindsight. It happens in the moment because you're so aware of the little nuances. You go, something's off. What is that? What am I aware of? And question starts to open up the possibilities. And then you see all these possibilities of what you could be aware of. And then you start to ask, what choice can I make towards these possibilities? And that's the energy that you start to follow, which is following your awareness, following the energy. Okay, I'm going to take a moment so our translators can breathe because I felt like I was talking slow though, comparatively to how I normally talk. Doris is giving me a thumbs up. We're good. Okay, cool. Yay, me. All right. So I'm gonna actually, translators, I'm gonna read that thing that I said I might read. And I'm gonna read slow. So this is from a choice of possibility. Well, four possibilities is the name of the class, but it's a choice of possibilities in the past manual. This is Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, talking. So we're going to do a clearing to start. So what feelings are you using to create the solidity of life you are choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it, please. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, bases, creations, and beyonds. That's the clearing statement. I think the girls already put it in the Zoom. If you want to learn more about the clearing statement, please go to theclearingstatement.com. So, have you ever gotten really excited about the awareness of something that could be created? And all of a sudden, you take that intensity and you turn it into feelings. And then all of a sudden, you turn it into thoughts, like thinking about what you need to do to create it. And all of a sudden, it's dead. And then you're like, why can I not create? You get this intensity of sensation and awareness of possibilities. And what you do based on the occupation of reality is you twist that into feelings. You've just taken awareness of what is possible and you've twisted it into feeling it as though that's how you create it. No, you need to be aware of it and ask, what's it going to take to create this? And then follow the whispers of energy that are there. The whispers of energy are what will guide you to create a different future and create anything you could ever ask for. So here are these whispers of energy that are available, whispers of the creation of future that are possible, but you don't recognize that that's how you actually create. So what you do is you try to get intense enough so you can turn it into a feeling, so you can finally have it. So all of the intensities that you're using to create the feelings so that you can finally have what you're asking for, will you destroy and uncreate it times a godzillion, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, bays, these creations and beyonds. Okay, Samo.
Hey, hello. First, I just want to
Hi.
say thank you so much for all your contributions so far. It's been amazing. And the good thing in my life is like super expanding. So I'm super aware. So it's super loud. Then it feels like scary. It feels like too much. So it's like it's amazing. I mean, I'm actually aware of the amazing possibilities. I know they're here. There's so much awareness. My body's kind of freaking out because it's so big. So there's like any tools or stuff for things I can use so it'd be easier for me to receive the magic that's coming, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so instead of trying to suppress it or turn it down, that's that intensity of possibilities rattling in your world, right? So what if you acknowledge like what limitations are actually like shaking free? I'm gonna keep using dogs today, okay? I don't know why, but have you ever seen a dog get out of a pool and then shake like
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah.
right? And all the water just flies and they're almost
Mm.
dry immediately because they have this capacity to shake it off. So if you didn't have to suppress that energy, because you guys, if we're energetic beings, isn't it wild that when we start to explore, experience, and interact with new energies, whatever that is, um, where we all of a sudden assume that there's something we can't handle or where it's too much. And when you go to any sort of, oh my gosh, it's too much. Can you help me handle this? Or can you help me, like, even, yes, have ease, but even there's like a little, this is being aware of an energy. Can you perceive there's like a little bit of when I'm asking for ease, I'm asking because I need it to be easy to
Mm.
have this much going on because I'm reacting to the intensity.
Mhm.
So there's still a slight request of like turning something down. What if you leaned in and turned it all the way the fuck up?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Like so when and again, I'm like so I think this is why I'm talking slower today. I'm so asking to be so use words today that where we can all tap in a new and different way and look at all the places and conclusions, these little conclusions, even those that have done access for a long time have about their capacity with energy, your
Mm.
conclusion about whether or not you can follow the energy or that you're even aware of it. You start to limit what you're willing to be aware of because of whatever conclusion you have. So all the conclusions that we're all running in the background about whether or not we have this even as a capacity. Can we destroy and uncreate it, please, times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, bases, creations, and beyonds. So you start to phase. So I know a lot of people who are instant actualizers, like things just show up for them. Like and the moment they're clear about what they like, it like is in the mailbox.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
always
me.
so fascinated by those people. Okay. And then what happens is the mailbox starts to get full because they're too afraid to go out there and receive what the gift is, right?
Mm.
And so they're sitting in their front window watching the mailbox get fuller and fuller and but are paralyzed with the fact that it's time to receive this thing that they're asking for. And sooner or later the wind comes and there goes all of their request out into the ethers and they're like, okay, got to start over.
Sorry to interrupt. Like that's exactly what's happening with it. Like I know it's there. The mail is there. I just like I'm too tired to pick it up, and I'm like, but it's there. Everything. So that's exactly what's happening to me. So it's amazing.
Cool. So it's one step in front of the other. If we use this analogy, take a step towards the door, the next one is put your hand on the door handle. Okay, I feel like I'm in inferno. I'm going to burn up if I go out and receive this gift, right? One foot in front of the other until you get there. It's because every step will acknowledge your power and potency to walk in intensity. You take
Mm.
one step, it didn't kill you. Move
Mm.
one step more. It didn't kill you. You must be bigger than it. Keep going. Um, and from that, just continue to ask for your receiving. Because a lot of times, you guys, like what I know is that I'll ask for something, it shows up, but it shows up different or greater than what I had asked for. So I'm going
Mm.
to try to draw this picture. I'm probably going to be very inappropriate because this always happens with my when I use my hands. So I'm sorry, not sorry. All right. So I asked for something and I'm congruent with it. So I have this much receiving. it shows up and it's like this big.
Mm.
Okay. And I'm like, I can't, like, I haven't asked to increase my receiving, so I can't actually get it in. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, oh my gosh, it's vibrating because it's trying to actually like fit itself in my world. And it's so intense. If I
Yeah.
go all the way out and go, okay, what have I not been willing to receive here? That if I received it, would have this flow with total ease,
Yes.
expand that. And then it's like it just softly slips in.
That's
You're
amazing.
welcome.
That's exactly what's been happening like last week. And that's like, I know it's gonna happen. And though it's so loud, like I know it's inevitable. I acknowledge that I know that it's gonna happen. That's just like this is just screaming so loud because like it's inevitable, but I would like to receive it with ease. I don't need to have drama or feelings or stuff. So like you're spot on. So there's like more ease, more receiving. Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah. And again, remember the intensity and the vibration is us
Mhm.
creating feelings with our points of view about what showed up, how it showed up, if it's enough, if it's too much, like all of the polarity systems, that is judgment. So if you
Mhm.
don't take a reaction of it and you don't create a feeling around the reaction, and then you don't judge that which is your reaction, it can actually come through and contribute to what you've asked for and greater.
Beautiful. That's like I'm gonna re-listen to this call like 5 times a day. This is like so helpful. Thank you so much.
Cool.
I
Cool.
appreciate it. You're the best.
Awesome. You're so welcome. All right, Fur.
Hello.
Hi.
Um, so you might have already addressed it, and I feel like I'm avoiding hearing the call. So if you addressed it, just tell me to listen back. But I was wondering if you can talk more about going alone or like whatever that means when it comes to like following your awareness. Because you might be aware of something that other people are not. But then what I do is that I judge what I'm aware of instead of keep in question or be wondering about what is it that I uniquely know or something like that. That's my question.
Yeah, I think with that one, that's a great question because I know I've had to like really get vulnerable with whatever has shown up for me in the past because let's go back to the parenting thing. Okay. So you were never, unless you were, so I don't like to do blanket statements over the top of people. Okay. Most of us were never acknowledged for our awareness. So you have a awareness about where to eat for dinner or an awareness about a stranger danger or whatever, and mommy and daddy, if they don't have the same point of view, they don't ask you what you're aware of, they tell you what their point of view is, and then you toss the awareness out like, oh, that's not valuable. So you've over and over been desiring your awareness to be heard. It gets shut down. And then when you get into access and you start to explore that you actually have awareness, the other side of that is now you want to be validated for it. So you know you're on the right path. And if people don't have the same awareness, it's so easy to want to fight for yours or let go of it in the same way that you were trained when you were a kid. Um, I'm going to give you a Sarah-ism. I don't know how you translate that. A Sarah, you guys know, you'll figure that out. A Sarah thing. I'm going to give you a Sarah tool. um, I I used to see myself doing the thing of like suppressing or killing my awareness in favor of someone else's. And that wasn't working for me anymore. If I would like, and I'm talking about like team creations, like, I work for Access as you do on different teams, and we come together and I'd be like, oh, what about this? And then if it was like, no, majority rules, we're going this way, I'm like, Meh. And then I would like almost punch the awareness in the face, like that I was dumb enough to listen to it, go away awareness. And I started to see that because I was experiencing that there, that's how I was leading my own business and my own life. Like awareness was no longer valuable. Finding people to align and agree with me was. Okay. So I acknowledge that. So if you're doing that, don't judge it, just acknowledge it and go, wow, yeah, I'm so looking for everybody else to validate what I'm aware of by aligning and agreeing with me and seeing it the way I do. What that does is that diminishes. Okay. One of the invitations I want to put out today on this is me interrupting myself, by the way, I'll bring it back, I promise, is that I don't know how I would have gotten to what I have gotten to and created what I've been able to create in my life, living, relationships, business, finances, if I didn't get access to my being. Because when you were raised with no access to your being and you're actually just kind of like modeled into what someone else wants you to be, following the energy is very, very challenging. And the more that you let go of the points of view and the ideas about you and the definitions of you, the more these little sparkles of awareness get to be in your world constantly, constantly. And it's just a choice on which one you follow. So I'd like to invite you all right now to Dane has a Being You class in Argentina next weekend, next weekend. And then the energetic synthesis of being class. You have to have foundation for ESB. You don't have have to have any prereqs for the Being You class. Both of those classes are about being, and they start to give you access to what is uniquely yours, so that here's my sequitur. Here's my connection point for you. So that when you are in a group situation and no one is seeing what you're seeing, no one is seeing what you're seeing, you don't let go of your awareness. You're willing to follow if that's what's going to create greater, because everybody wants to go there, and you're willing to be like, sure, let's go that way. Let's see what that creates, with no point of view and no fight or reaction. Because truly, and you've seen this just recently, like with me with certain projects where I'm like, what about this? And everybody's like, no, we're going this direction. I'm like, okay. And then literally we get on a meeting a week later and they're like, actually, we're going to go that way. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have to fight, and I also didn't have to prove, but that came from my choice to no longer diminish what I'm aware of, what I do. And this literally is a picture in my head. When there is a seed of awareness that no one else can perceive, I plant it in the soil of my reality, and then I ask energetically to water it. And if this awareness will create greater, it will start to get louder, and it will spring from the soil, and it will start to like bloom beautifully, and it gives me clarity. And whether that awareness then becomes for me and my business and my life, and it's not about this project that I thought it was, or it gets so loud that people can't avoid it. When I walk into the room, they see me and they're like, what is that bright, shiny thing following her? Oh, that's the awareness she had about the project we're working on. Let's go see what she's aware of. It's like I allow it to be something that still contributes and creates, but no one ever has to, like in my picture, it's a flower. It's a very pretty, bright flower. It came through. Like no one has to sniff my flower. There are so many sexual innuendos today. And so I apologize if I'm making this a dirty call. That's not what I mean. Okay. Except unless it is. Okay. So my flower's there and she's a gift, and I get to use her and create with her and let her bloom and grow for me, for some other project for the future. I never had to cut her down or diminish her ever again. I plant the awareness and I water it. Like literally, there will be times like recently, I'm going to give you guys an example. We were creating something for Dane. We were looking at what price it should be. I suggested a price on a meeting. Everybody was like, nope, this is way lighter. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I truly didn't have a point of view, but I knew I was aware of something. So I took that seed. You guys are getting a tour of Sarah's brain. This is what it looks like in there. Okay. But I'm literally on that meeting and I like perceive the awareness and I toss it into my soil and I just put some water on it. Universe, show me if this actually creates greater. Will you please like show yourself again? It was like 2 days later, we're on a meeting with Dane then, and they're like, oh, this is the price that we're using this. He's like, wait a minute. I thought we were doing this other price. And there was that little flower of awareness contributing to the future that Dane would actually like to choose for that call. Was anybody wrong? No. Was I wrong for not fighting for it? No. Were they wrong for choosing something else prior? No, because that's just how we got there. And so, but the muscle I would love to all of us to ask to build is that place where you've been taught to diminish your awareness. And if you ever have it, you've been taught to fight for it. If you could let go of that, if you didn't have to do reaction and you didn't have to do proving and you didn't have to turn it into feelings, it could just be something that's there contributing. You would get to use and play with your awareness so much more, so much more.
That was great. Thank you. I will listen to that over and over.
Awesome. You're very welcome. Thank you for your question. And Kuta, welcome, gorgeous.
Hello, beauty. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. So, my question is, so how is with how's the thing with awareness and pain in the body?
That's a good question too. You guys are like bringing it today. Okay. So bodies are aware, and most of you on here, majority of you, you and your body, or you or your body, are healers. And so your body's giving you awareness of the world around you constantly, constantly. Gary said a while back, he said, bodies don't have pain, they have awareness. And it's a really great example of how we take awareness and turn it into a feeling so that we know what to do with it and how to navigate it. So your body can be aware of another body that's struggling with something. Your body, especially if it's had access body processes, knows how to contribute an energy that will contribute to the body. And your body's like, hey, we're doing this right now. We're flowing this energy. And instead of going, ooh, body, what are you doing right now? Ooh, body, go to question, ooh, body, who are we contributing to? What are we aware of right now? Instead of getting to that, you skip over your body's communication. And then your body's like, hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're contributing right now. Or hey, we're aware of this thing right now. Oh my gosh, would you listen to me? Oh, you're not listening. Oh, hey. And then the intensity of the awareness turns up, and it needs to turn up. And then from the intensity, you conclude immediately pain. And then guess what? You're so powerful. You create it and so you can feel it. So you can be right about it being painful. It's a big one to unlock. But one of the things that I will say contributed to me, another kind of Sarah take or tool, I started to be asked to become very aware of my I am statements. I am tired. I am in pain. My knee hurts. My back hurts. I have, a pain in the neck, whatever. And so the more I claim it, the more it intensifies in my reality so that I can be right. That's the danger. That's the polarity system. I can be right about I am anything. And so what I would say for all of us is that if you're pondering body pain and what all that is, instead of trying to like decode the master lock of whatever that awareness is, I would start to be asked to be aware of how you engage the awareness prior to the feeling sensation, because it is there. We just skip over it to our conclusion. But if you start to go, what is the moment just before I conclude this is mine and not an awareness? And ask for that to show itself.
Thank you. That actually contributes a lot. And connected to it, besides this, is there anything like practical that would ease up a bit, like the pain, like in the moment?
Well, I just gave it to you, but you don't want to hear me. So the moment you call it pain, it's pain. That's truly how miraculous you are. Your point of view creates your reality. If it's pain, then it's going to stay pain. And now you have to fight pain. Even if you invented the pain, it's your pain because you called it pain.
Okay, now I see.
So if there's if you're having something go on in your leg or your back and you go, I have pain in my back, what do I do with it? You've already told me that you're concluding that it's pain and not awareness and intensity of awareness. Now, I know this is like, and I know this because you guys, I sat in so many access classes for so many years, like rolling my eyes, not actually rolling my eyes, but like energetically being like, meh, meh, meh. If anybody knows how to like reject access tools, I have like a master's degree in it. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Dane here is my older brother. He introduced me to the tools in the year 2000. I didn't like actually engage them till 2015. Okay. So I get it. Like, I get that it sounds like, oh, you're mixing words. But that if I don't call it pain, then, and I call it intensity, but the thing is that when you conclude something, there's a period at the end of the sentence. That's what it is. And that's what it is for you because you're magical and you can create it that way. Not because you're pathetic, but because you can take a conclusion and turn it into reality. That is fucking wizardry. Okay. If you own that and you go, oh my gosh, my reality is made up of a bunch of points of view that I have about me and the world around me and what's possible. Okay, so let me use these tools to get rid of my points of view so that I can institute a totally different reality and actualize something, right? Okay, cool. So now we're on the action train of actualizing, if you will. And your body has awareness, but you have yet to let go of pain being how something's going on with your body that you have to pay attention to, and pain being the only way that your body's ever gotten your attention. Have you ever seen a kid while playing, while having the time of their life fall down?
Yes.
And what happens a lot of the time?
Well, if they just go back on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kids will be 105-degree temperature and are like, but my friends are coming over today. Like, I'm playing, right? Because the body is having intensity, but they're not aligning with it because they're going to have what they're going to have and they're having a good time. And so if you didn't have to go into the feeling of what is going on, now this takes a muscle. This takes you committing to changing it. I still do it. I'm like, my back hurts, my leg hurts, my leg hurts. Okay, then I've created my leg hurting. It's very, very simple that it's annoying that it's so simple that we want to ignore it. Okay, but if I go body, if I get present and go body, what are we aware of? Whose back are we aware of? Or what am I hiding behind my back? And I ask my questions that I know that contribute to my back. My body will give me even just the slightest release to go, okay, you've acknowledged me. I'm giving you awareness. It's still going to be intense for a little bit because you still want to prove something with it. But because you're not owning it, I can now start to dissipate it.
That actually makes sense. And I have to say this, the minute you shook me a bit, it actually started feeling with being much more with ease in the body. So thank you. I need to, again, as Fer said, re-listen again.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. You guys, another thing with pain, and I'm doing quotations with my arms because my arms, that's my fingers. My fingers. Arm quotations. That got really funny, man. Okay. Now what was I going to say? Oh, you might want to start asking what's the value of pain? What do you love about pain? Okay. For one of my superpowers, I would have said before, is that I have a high tolerance for pain. Thinking that pain was only in the body, but you can do pain in relationships and emotions and financially. You can have pain in so many places. It's so cute. But that I have a high tolerance for pain. So guess what? In order to prove my strength, I would create situations where I would be in pain. And in that I would be celebrated. It was what my parents celebrated. It's how if you won the race, they would be like, high five. If you won the race with a broken leg, you would not only get a high five, but you would get put on a plaque in the hallway in the house and be celebrated forever. So I would create some mystery problem right before I would, as an athlete, even compete, so that when I competed with a handicap, because then the prize at the end is way greater. You're way more validated and celebrated as the strength that you are. But I took that out of sports and athleticism and put it everywhere in my life. Everywhere. I'm like, I love pain. Let me show you how much pain I can create so that I can show you how strong I am when I get out of it. Okay. So yeah, you have to push through the pain, Donna, 100%, right? But that's because we won't have the ease of going, is this even mine? Do I need to define this as pain? Is it even valuable if you didn't walk both ways to school in the snow barefoot? Is it even valuable anymore if you didn't make it really hard first? And like truly still working on this one, that when you just show up and like the magic's there and you just receive the thing you asked for, I still am like, is it really something I want if I didn't work really hard for it or wasn't in pain to get it? So getting vulnerable, because most people will get to a mic in a class or on a Zoom and be like, I want to get rid of my pain. But really, they're receiving something from, or they manipulate everybody around them. If they have like people with financial pain, like have a point of view that everybody around them with money should pay for them. And that's how they manipulate the system. And it's always worked. So why would they give it up? Okay. So you want to look at like, what's your value of pain? What do you love about all the pain that you create with your point of view? What do you love about it? Because once you see what you love about it, that's when you're getting vulnerable with it. And now you go, okay, now what else is possible if I didn't have to hold this in place?
That was like, phew.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Awesome. Gio.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh my God, something, I don't know if I can call it weird or funny happened yesterday. So I wanted to get to a concert, but I didn't have tickets. So I went to the venue to see if I can find tickets outside the venue. And there were lots of people because this venue is inside of a or like a carnival. So that's way too much noise and screaming and a lot of things happening. And as there was a lot of people trying to get tickets also. So I was talking to a person that it wasn't at the venue, it was at home that, hey, I'm not gonna come to the concert, I'm selling my tickets, la la la. She fucked me over and she had my money and I didn't have tickets. So I was asking questions, but I noticed these questions has like I don't know, like an expectation attachment, you know? So what can I do in moments like that when there's so much noise and so much people trying to get the same thing that I want to get because I couldn't find like my voice on it? I was hearing everything, not me.
Oh, I love this because this is like you painted the picture, which I love.
I
And
know.
you brought me there. I'm outside of like the arena. There's people trying to scalp tickets. Everybody has a point of view about who's going to get them. And you're standing there in a bit of reaction with your friend. And every question you're asking has a bit of expectation and rejection attached to it.
I'm doing great.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good because we could all put ourselves there and know that that's how it shows up a lot of the time. Okay. So, my little tool, in those intensities, I always say, I wonder what my next thought will be. Because a lot of times we're asking questions with our points of view attached. Now, another Sarah trick. We should have just called this called Sarah tricks. Welcome to the mind of the insane person that facilitates classes. Okay. So if you find yourself in expectation, let's say expectation is in front of you and all you can do is ask questions according to expectation. Now, first acknowledge that most people don't even know they're doing that, Gio. So the fact that you even like perceived that I was like, oh, that's weird. That's not really a curious question. That's my expectation with a question mark. Wow. How fucking brilliant is Gio to even perceive that that's what she's doing? Okay, cool. Everything that is pock and pot. But with expectations or oftentimes like when targets become goals. So in Access, we talk about have a target because you can move around and shoot at the target from all different places. Whereas goals is like you kick the ball to the goal. And if it doesn't go in, you lose the game and that's it. And the goal stays in one place. With that, I will walk 180 around. So if getting into the concert is the only thing I'm willing to ask a question about and how to get there. And I'm really intense about it with my expectation that I'm going to get it and it's going to happen and like doing force instead of demand. Like, okay, let me stop and I'm going to ask questions about not getting into the concert. And it like it's like a way to like trip up the wires of polarity, because if you're so focused on that you can't see the forest through the trees, ask a question about the opposite, and you start to trick the polarity system of this reality in your own little mind. Because as soon as you go, wow, what's the gift of not going to the concert? What would I choose tonight if I didn't go to the concert? Oh, the intensity and the need and the force starts to like go away. And then it's like, but wait a minute, but I do really would like to go to the concert. Now you're asking questions. Now you turn back to what you would like to create and receive. And you ask questions about the excitement and the thrill of getting to the concert. Now that enthusiasm of creating that can lead you rather than your expectation. Does that make any sense at all? Am I making any sense? I'll be over here drinking my drink.
Totally. Because I was willing not to go. I mean, I know I didn't have tickets, so I was willing to not go, but I was not asking questions about what could happen if I not going. You know, I felt like plans in my mind, like, yeah, I can go and do this and do that, and maybe go into, I don't know, maybe play a little bit here, or just see people, and I don't know. I was willing to do that, but the excitement of I want to get in so badly, like, wins over everything. So
yeah,
this
so
really can help.
Was that I want to get in so badly yours?
Oh, maybe no. It was like 200 people outside that want to get in so badly as I was.
Yeah. And so for me, none of those, the direction none of those people are looking at is the gift of not going.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, I'm looking at you on the screen, but if I turn around and look at my pretty dragons, I get a totally different energy of the gift of them. And then something else will spark energetically. And then when I turn back, I have a unique perspective because I was willing to look away, not from doubt or from failure or like that thing people do where like, poor me, I'm not going to get in. But like going, okay, I'm going to look over here and then I'm going to look back at this and see what I become aware of. And those little sparks start to take a different shape because now they're yours and you've created a unique space for you rather than following the herd towards the goal, and getting like enmeshed in all of those points of view and all of that intensity, turning your awareness to other things and other possibilities. I do it this way, do it your way. I do it to look away and like breathe and go, okay, I really desire this. And am I going to be okay if I don't receive it? And I get that like you were there because so maybe I ask you, what is that energy? Let's explore a little bit. So you got there and friend told you once you got there that you weren't going to have the tickets, or you went there knowing your friend wasn't bringing you tickets?
I went there and I know I didn't have tickets. But there's in these places, there's a lot of people outside that resells their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, maybe I can find one that has tickets that I can buy and get in. You know? But for some reason, everyone has like VIP and really good tickets, but I was not willing to pay that much for a ticket. So I was no, I want to be like in a lamp. I don't know, like like everywhere. I don't care. And I was starting, I don't know, just start talking to this person in Facebook, like, please sell me your tickets. And she was like, yeah, and I'm going to sell them to you. And this is my ID, so you can trust me. You can pay me half of one ticket, and then I'll send you the tickets, and you can pay me the part. And all of that. She was a really good manipulator. And I was really like, oh my God, what would it take for me to be willing to be that manipulative? Because she did really good. She stayed for an hour with me, like, really trust me, I'm here and I'm answering you. She convinced me. She did it.
Okay. Can I, just because we have a manipulation call coming up that you're all invited to, was that actual manipulation or was that lying? She a really good manipulator or is she a really good liar?
Oh, she was really good lying. Yeah.
I just want to set you free from that for a little bit and we'll explore it more on that call. But I think we misidentify that energy a lot and then avoid being it when manipulation would actually have possibly gotten you into the concert.
Ooh, yeah, she was lying. Yeah,
Cool. So she was a really good liar. That
yeah.
to me, that's like way lighter and more congruent than giving her the acknowledgement of being a really good manipulator. Um, so what what was your point of view? Truth, were you getting into that concert or were you not getting into that concert when you headed to see if you could buy tickets?
I was getting, I was so sure that I was gonna get into the concert
Okay, cool. And when did that start to shift? Before or after you talked to the liar?
before.
Before.
Oh my God, I was aware.
Yeah. So you were aware, and then what happens, what becomes congruent with your point of view is you stumble into the person who's going to lie to you about getting in because you're lying to you about getting in.
Yeah, but because my awareness showed up for me as a doubt, and I didn't want to doubt my awareness. I doubt my awareness. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, and a lot of these things, we just have to try them on, guys. We just have to try them on. We have to try these tools on and like see what we become aware of. And a lot of times, like awareness, like not following your awareness will cost you, but you will never pay that debt twice if you receive it.
Yeah, totally.
Right. So, and doubting your awareness, that's probably a whole nother call because doubt is like a layer on top to keep you from your awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you start to function and ping off the doubt. And if you clear that, then you're like, what's actually going on here? What have I been unwilling to be aware of? And what would actually create here? And that's where, for me, the 180 thing, like turning completely energetically away from the force energy that I'm doing with this thing, get allowance over here for this thing. And then I come back, I don't have the intensity in the same way. It's like I get in or I don't get in. Like, and now what can I be creative and be aware of that's actually an adventure? And for me, when something's an adventure, my enthusiasm or excitement is leading me, and that's the energy I follow. And then I would go up to the person who has the most enthusiasm or excitement or is pulling me from that energy, which is very different than like being drawn to like the liars, if you will, the
Yeah,
scams.
I get it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What else is possible? Natalie, we have 3 minutes. Can we do a quickie?
Yes. All right. Oh wow. All right. I love so much of what you were saying. So helpful, and I felt like you kind of answered a lot of my questions. I love the 180 idea because I was thinking about quitting my job this fall, and I'm scared to do it. And then it just really lightened up even just thinking about that. Real quick, I guess what I wanted to ask is like, when you are having doubts about awareness, like what is an action step I can do? How can I get more in touch with really following my noise? Because I'm like, oh, is this my noise or is this my noise? And I get kind of confused and then not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Sarah, before you jump in, we need to adjust Natalie's sound a little bit. Natalie, do you have another mic that you can use, or even in the settings on Zoom, not even like if you have AirPods, headphones, or changing the mic setting on your Zoom, the translators are just having a tough time hearing you.
Let me do this, Kate, because I'll probably just riff and then we'll go. So Natalie's asking about, for translators, she's asking about doubt and where doubt sneaks in with her awareness. And she doesn't know whether that's the awareness or if her awareness is the awareness. So I don't know if you're familiar with the clearing statement, but when doubt gets really loud, I take a moment with the doubt. Okay, so what are stories is another conversation we have in Access. So in a story, there's the storyline and then there's all the characters and you play one of them. And so what stories am I telling myself that create this doubt? Like, what is my story and what character am I being right now? And it could be a doubt that someone projected on you, that you could create your life the way that you want to, that you perceived when you were 10. When someone's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you're like, the first female astronaut to be on the moon. And they were like, meh. And you went, oh, and then you pick that up and you carry that energy with you everywhere to guide your choices, right? And it's wild how this stuff works. But so then it's like, what story am I telling myself that this isn't possible for me? What are the characters that I'm playing in that story? And then I would run the clearing statement. And I kind of, this is a weird thing to say, and I hope that you guys like perceive the energy of it. But when it comes to certain energies, there are ones that we just want to reject and judge and kick in its face because of reaction to it. So if there's doubt, we have like a doubt, you're an ugly energy. I want you gone. And we don't actually get to know it. We don't lean in and befriend the doubt. That doesn't make it more real. It doesn't mean get in bed with it and get naked with the doubt and like make out with it. It means, hey, doubt, what you still doing here? Hey, why do I still find you valuable? Why am I still having conversations with you? What's the story I'm telling myself about this doubt? And where am I using you and calling you in order to limit me? Ooh, interesting. That means it's my choice. It's my choice to listen to this doubt instead of my awareness, huh? And the more that I've done that with like, especially with like the distractor implants, which there's a book, Living Beyond Distraction, if you want more information about those, for those who haven't heard of that, doubt is one of them. That the more I don't run away from those energies and like really look at them and ask about my story with them and where they're just kind of always written in the script, I get to go without reaction, go, oh yeah, you're not required here. Like, will I learn something? Yeah. If I leave my job and I'm like freaking out, am I actually freaking out or am I so fucking excited I don't know what to do? And will I learn something? Yeah. But can I get another job? Yeah. I'm completely capable, and I'm not going to use doubt to limit what I can choose. And then doubt gets afraid of you, and doubt knows it's not valuable to you, and it stops showing up as much if you're not fighting it and rejecting it and creating a energetic tie to it because you have to react to it and resist it. Doubt can like come in the front door and you're like, hi, welcome. You're not going to decide what we're eating for dinner. You can sit here because obviously I've still invited you in, but you're not going to determine what gets chosen. And then doubt's like, oh no, I'm no longer valuable to Natalie. I guess I'll move on to the next house, And so it doesn't have to be this loud thing that you think is you anymore because it's not you. It's just a story you bought about you. Cool.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is practice,
Yeah.
Noticing and not believing and just kind of like, oh, hey, what is this? Is this what I would like?
Yes,
Okay.
girl. Yes. Even your energy changed right there. Yeah. So get curious, add curiosity to everything. Like get curious as if you'd never perceived doubt and you just got dropped on this planet and someone started to tell you about this thing called doubt. Get curious so that it's not coming from your conclusions about you or your definitions of you, and you can actually explore the energy and move it along. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay, guys. I actually have a meeting I was supposed to be at on 2 minutes ago, and a few other of us on here. Thank you all. Huge gratitude to our translators. I would kiss you in places that you would like to be kissed if I saw you more often in person, but I'm sending all of that vibe your way. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope this was a contribution. I'm going to remind you, if you really want to explore following the energy, you've got to get access to your being. And Dane has a Being You Changing the World class coming up online and live in Argentina, no prereqs. And also energetic synthesis of being in Mexico. I will be there. And then we have Being You Day. You're invited to all of that. We will put it in the follow-up notes. ESB, you need foundation. Being you don't need anything but your excitement for exploring your being. And those are the tools. And if none of that's light for you, please go get the Being You Changing the World book by Dr. Dane here and lean into what you as a being uniquely be and the energies you're uniquely aware of, and your awareness will come alive like never before. All right. And thank you to my team. I adore you guys so fucking much. All right. Bye, guys. Sorry I couldn't get to all the questions, but next time.